Hello everyone. In this video we are going to study about the print culture in the South Asia. We will see what is the contribution of A.R. Venkatachalapathy. Also we will see some other historians who also work for the print culture. If we see the print culture, it is not only about the books, it is about the growth of the public opinion, growth of nationalism, language identities, literacy and the modern intellectual life. Early historians mainly focused on the political events and the rulers, but recent trends have shown the print culture deeply influenced the society, culture, and politics in the colonial India. If we see the historical background here, the historiography of print culture, it is mainly influenced by the cultural history, the literary history, and the social history. If we see the Eurocentric understanding, the print automatically created modern societies, but however, recent South Asian historians challenge this approach. They argued India developed in different historical and social context. Indian print culture was influenced not only by colonialism but also by the local literary traditions, oral cultures, caste structures, devotional practices, and regional languages. Thus, historians moved away from viewing print only as a technical invention and began studying it as a social process. It is a social process. If we see the work of Venkatachalapathy in his book, The Province of the Book, he studies the Tamil world in the colonial South India and explains how books, journal, pamphlets, and the cheap print created the new publics. And furthermore, he explains about the lived social experiences. He studies the authors, publishers, printers, bookseller, readers, and the circulations of the networks. Also, Venkatachalya, he argues the print culture. He argues that the print culture in the South India, it developed within the Tamil society rather than simply copying European models. जो तमिल लिटरेरी ट्रेडिशंस, डिवोशनल टेक्स्ट हो गए, ओरल कल्चर हो गए, दे शेप द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ द प्रिंट. ही रिजेक्ट्स द अजम्पशन जो colonial India it passively imitated western print modernity. ही ऑल्सो स्टडीज़ किस तरीके से प्रिंट क्रिएट करता है नई पब्लिक्स को, लिंग्विस्टिक आइडेंटिटीज़ को, रीजनल हैबिट्स को, इंटेलेक्चुअल डिस्कशंस को. तो प्रिंट बिकम कनेक्टेड विद मॉडर्निटी, लैंग्वेज, पॉलिटिक्स एंड आइडेंटिटी फॉर्मेशन. So we can just say Venkatachalapathy transformed the history of print into a social history of books and readers. Okay, तो if we see the public sphere also, सबसे major जो हमें theme दिखता है print historiography का, कि it created the spaces where people could exchange ideas through the newspaper, journals, pamphlets and the books. The spread of print, it encouraged the debates, political discussions, literary criticism and the public opinion as well. Also जो print connected the people, most importantly, and after this connection we will see it later. So this continued. We will see how journals, how pamphlets and the books, they exchange the ideas. There were debates, discussions around, there was literary criticism and the public opinion here. Also, if we see the print, how it connected the people across the globe, across the region, and it helped in the growth of the linguistic and the regional identities. The print, it became especially important for the social reform movements, caste reform movements, and if we see the nationalism and the regional politics. Also, it again emerged as the Venkatachalapathy say, created a new public sphere in the South India. Reading communities, they become the part of modern public life. Then here's another scholar, that is Stuart Blackburn. He, in his work The Print, Folklore and the Nationalism, he argues about how print transformed the oral traditions and the folklore into edited and well printed books, and this helped the wider circulation of them. Also, according to the Blackburn, the printing folklore have created regional and nationalistic identities. These identities later helped in the nationalist consciousness. His work expand the print historiography beyond the elite literature. So we can simply remember जो Blackburn है, he showed the print transform folklore into the tool of cultural and the nationalist identity. Then there is Robert Darnton. So Robert Darnton, he talks about the relationship between the print and the colonial power. He explained how printed material could spread nationalism, anti-colonial ideas, criticism of government and political dissent. So the colonial state है इन चीज़ों को जानते हुए he introduced the censorship and the surveillance. So his contribution is important because he connects the print culture with the state power. If we see another his scholar, that is Ulrike Stark. So Stark, he argues that press was not merely a commercial institution but a major cultural force. How it is major cultural force? It published some religious texts, literary works, and educational book as well. So if we see, firstly they rejected the old Eurocentric idea that print automatically create the modernity. Then they showed print culture in India developed through interaction between colonialism and the local tradition. Third, they expanded the study of print beyond books and press to include readers, folklore, public opinion, censorship, and reading communities. Fourth, they connected print culture with nationalism, language polity, and identity formation. Fifth, they combined cultural history with social, political, and economic history. So, thus, it became an important way to study the modern South Asian society. So, this is our series of 4 lectures in which we have read the core historiographical theme. We will launch another series in which we will see the field fiction, folklore, and then we will move to the oral tradition. We will see the law and we will see the society. It's gonna be interesting. You will get to know a large amount of information in very few minutes, so just try to read it more. You will get a brief idea if you are interested in the topic or not. So that's for this video. Thanks for joining.